From an Odyssey back to the galaxy, what should Super Mario Galaxy 3 look like? Block content. What's happening, my Block buddies, and welcome to a brand new episode of Blocked Content. My name is Callum, and this is going to be your content for today. I love the Super Mario Galaxy franchise. It's one of my favorite games of all time, the original. The second one was great too. I just think it did so much for Super Mario as a whole, as a franchise, and I think that if we don't think about Super Mario Odyssey 2, but maybe think about something like Super Mario Galaxy 3, we might be in for a big surprise. Because I feel like this is a game that needs to make a comeback. This is a franchise that I feel should fit very well on the Nintendo Switch, and maybe we'll even take Cappy down to the galaxy. Alright, for those of you guys who like giveaways, we are giving away a Piranha Plant plushie. Remember to like this video, subscribe to Blocked Content, and comment down below to enter for the giveaway at 50k. It's going really fast. Thank you guys so much. Hashtag Plant Gang. Alright, let's get into this. One of my favorite parts of the Super Mario Galaxy franchise is, of course, these planetoids, right? You travel from planet to planet, and they are always really fun. They have this great dynamic. The types of planets are great. I feel like the smaller planets are awesome, but also these really big planetoids that have like the Beehive Kingdom and stuff like that. That's really fun. And I thought about what if we match that and kind of mesh it together with Super Mario Odyssey. The idea that you can travel through Super Mario Galaxy as a game, but then have these power moons or maybe still stars, and you can collect them and you don't necessarily get booted out of the level again. So in that way, you can kind of freely travel the galaxy, kind of like how Super Mario Odyssey gives you these big worlds. You know, think about the Desert Kingdom, right? But then translate it to what if there's planets all around? Like, what if this is a planet and you can hop from planet to planet and kind of find out what your exact kind of feeling here is. And I love that about the original Super Mario Odyssey screens that we saw. It was like, oh, new Mario game is coming. What could this be? We didn't know that it was called Odyssey yet, but it felt like something very similar to Super Mario Galaxy, right? We saw planets in the background, we saw this gigantic moon, and we thought, this is just a different planet. This is not in Mario's world. Now, we, of course, were completely wrong. It was exactly in Mario's world. It was just in the same planet, in the same world. But that idea still kind of remains, right? Super Mario Galaxy with its awesome villains, you know, the robotic villains, which I really loved, with the two big feet that you can kind of climb and scale and fight. And then you, of course, have the Petey Piranha kind of dinosaur villain. You have the, you know, the lava kind of octopus villain. And, of course, the comic villains, which I always loved so much. Now, if you can couple those with what Super Mario Odyssey brought to the table, which isn't just, you know, the Power Moon thing and this whole big environment that you traverse, but also having Cappy there. Just think about how great Super Mario Galaxy would be if you had Cappy by your side instead of Luma. Or maybe both of them. Or maybe, you know, in different kinds of environments, right? So you could fly across the galaxy and still use Cappy to make some really tricky jumps. I think that this would be a really amazing idea. In terms of story, I would probably go with a different villain, although Nintendo is not doing that often. I feel like if we have Mario fight a villain that is different from Bowser in this game, and have Bowser sort of as, you know, the bigger villain behind that, that would work awesomely too. Like, oh, we didn't expect Bowser to be there, kind of like Luigi's Mansion, right? Where it was like King Boo the whole time, and then at the end there was still some hint of Bowser, but it was not Bowser. So I really love how that game handled that, and it would be great to see something like that again. Now, I'm not saying that we get Tatanga or anything, but I would be up for a new villain, you know, a new villain that wants to maybe conquer Mario's galaxy. That would be really cool, something that kind of eats the planets after you've completed a level and you can't really go back to it after, but you'll have to defeat the boss, and maybe then you'll be able to get back to it. Now, a lot of people have been making mock-ups for what Super Mario Galaxy 3 would kind of be, and a lot of people have wondered, hey, what if we do sort of a co-op thing, where you could both play in the same level, and one is Luigi, and one of them is Mario. That would be an idea where I would get behind 100%. I mean, I love Super Mario Odyssey as a single-player experience. I loved Super Mario Galaxy where you got to play as Luigi and it was a lot harder, but what would make it even more awesome is if you could combine it together. Now in Odyssey, you had this fun mode where you could play, you know, two-player mode, and the other player could play as Cappy. Now, Cappy didn't bring a whole lot. It was just, oh, now two players can play that game, and the functionality wasn't all that great. I feel like every time Nintendo makes a Mario mainline 3D game, they kind of experiment with what would it be like with 2 players or 3 players or 4 players. I feel like they did an amazing job in Super Mario 3D World for the Wii U, and I feel like some of that energy could definitely be brought to a game like Super Mario Galaxy 3, where you maybe just have 2 players. I wouldn't even need the Toads there, just have Mario and Luigi travel the galaxy together, and we might even jump into split screen mode when the 2 players get too far ahead from each other, so you can kind of both collect these power moons together. So maybe on one end of the screen, you could see Mario collecting a power moon up a really, really high tower and then knock down a bridge to make Luigi able to travel it too, but he just was collecting a power moon there. Now that idea, collecting power moons, fixing puzzles together, and just traveling to these planetoids, fighting these bosses, I think would be really great. I've also been thinking a lot about what Yoshi could be doing in this game. I feel like Yoshi's would be all over the game. You could probably have Mario and Luigi riding them at the same time. They would, of course, have powers, which I really loved about the Galaxy games. So you could, speed them up with the peppers, or you could, have them inflate like a balloon. But I also feel like we probably would need some new powers. I always liked Super Mario World, where you could have Yoshi fly with wings, or breathe fire, or stomp the ground, and I think that it's about time that those powers get back in a Mario game, so maybe, give it a big kind of overhaul. And one of the things that I most liked about Super Mario Galaxy were the worlds that were very big. Now, one of the biggest examples was, of course, the Bee Kingdom. And the new Mario power-up was great too, but it was just about this world that just felt a lot bigger than any of the other kind of worlds in the game. And there were a lot of world sins that had the same feeling, some underwater caverns and stuff like that, but that world in specific, I feel, is big, feels like a Super Mario 64 kind of a stage, and they just did a really, really fun job with that. It almost feels like a Banjo and Kazooie kind of, hub world. And in that sense, I would say we would need a hub world again. In Super Mario Galaxy 2, we had Mario's Starship. In Super Mario Galaxy 1, we of course had the Comet Observatory, and I feel like in Super Mario Odyssey, we have the ship, maybe, but all the other worlds sort of have a little bit of a hub world. I feel like they could have also done something a little bit better on that end, but the game isn't, designed to have a hub world, it's designed to travel. So I don't really know what Galaxy 3 would be like. Would you travel in a big ship, or would it be a lot more like Super Mario Odyssey, where you don't have a hub world and you just click the planet and you go there? I would say something that I would really love is to have this big kind of satellite that Mario just travels inside of, and you have all these, escape pods that you can jump in to go to different worlds, and you need a lot more fuel to go there, so that's what Mario kind of needs to travel there. And that would make a really great case to, collect more power moons, kind of like the Grand Star in Super Mario Galaxy to power up the ship, but also would be a great incentive to kind of explore that space, ship, that kind of satellite that I was talking about. So there might be nooks and crannies in there. There might be areas kind of like Peach's Castle in Mario 64 that you're not able to access until you get a lot of these power moons or stars. So there might be even, these hidden compartments there, or even floors that you can access only when you've done half of the game. Kind of think about Bowser's, endless staircase in Super Mario 64. Maybe there should be parts in that spaceship that could be kind of like that. So Mario Galaxy 2 would then kind of throw you into these big worlds, smaller worlds, and I feel like they would, not be that many, not as many as Super Mario Galaxy had, but fewer, kind of like Super Mario Odyssey, and just make them bigger. So the idea that Super Mario Odyssey had all these worlds that looked really great and had so much potential, now we'd even add on top of it that there's planetoids flying around that stage. So necessarily you'd have a whole lot more field to play in. And if you bring it to 2-player mode, which would be great, and Nintendo is probably doing 2-player mode with Super Mario Maker 2 now too, that would just be really awesome. I feel like if we focus on having a lot more fun with 2 players in one game, no online mode or anything, I think that it would be a great way to kind of dive into Super Mario Galaxy 3 as its own original thing. The first game was Mario Goes in Space. The second game was Mario Goes in Space with Yoshi. And then the third game should be Mario goes into space with his brother. I think that would just be amazing. So remember, you guys, if you're not yet a member of the Blocked Content family yet, hit that subscribe button. All the news and fun would be delivered to you on the daily. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys around the corner where there's always more Blocked Content. See ya.